This video shows how to set up and use the NewVoice conference recording into web playback. First, make sure to have a license for conference recording and a license for the playback application. If this is not ensured, contact your NewVoice support. MobiCall in its release version 10 is necessary. First, make sure to have the AMQP file server running. Open up the NewVoice line monitor from desktop and press the System button in the left top corner followed by Auto Start. Make sure the program NVAMQP Fileserver.txt is up and running. If this is not the case, add it with the Add button on the right side and start the file server. When the file server is started, open up the NewVoice Alarm Central and press the Settings button at the top. Search for the conference and recording settings to start defining the conference recording. The first half of this settings window is to define the global conference settings. Here you can define the length of conferences, the waiting duration for a conference partner, etc. The settings for call and conference recordings in the lower half of the page is required. Here you define where and how the recording is saved. The first setting is to define the hard drive partition where the recording is stored, followed by the folder. By default, it is stored in d:\recording. Also, placeholders can be used like Y for the year, W for the week and D for the day by activating the checkbox Activate Time Placeholders in WAV directory for dynamic directories. Second option is to record the conference asynchronous for special functions. Activate this setting for conference recording. To also display the recorded conferences in the web playback application, it is mandatory to activate the checkbox Write Recording Data so SQL database for playback over web interface. By activating this checkbox, the AMQP file server will automatically add all recorded conferences into the SQL database. When you see AMQP file server is active, the voice recording data is written by AMQP to the file server, then everything is set up properly so far. Save the settings by pressing the OK button below. Now an alarm needs to be defined that records the conference. It is recommended to test the recording function by making a test with the default conference alarm number 9610 or 9611. Open up the alarm configuration from the alarm 9611 and define a group with 2 telephony participants inside. There is a setting button for this alarm conference next to the two-party conference alarm type. Open the menu by pressing this setting button. Here can be defined several settings for this alarm conference. Define as you need and make sure the checkbox Record All Conferences for this alarm key is active. It is also possible to define an alarm that will be started for playing the recorded WAV file afterwards with the drop-down menu below. When everything is set up, open up the NewVoice web interface by connecting to the MobiCall via a browser like Google Chrome or the new Microsoft Edge. If you're on the server, you can simply connect to localhost. Make sure to have the latest web version installed for your MobiCall version. Updates for the web interface can be found on the NewVoice FTP server. Log into the web with an administrator account and open up the administration on the left side. Here change to Administrate Apps to activate or deactivate web applications for the different users. Search for the application playback and activate the slider on the right side. Global App Config to General. Activate the playback application and check the Now Active checkbox to enable playback for the selected profile. Here it is activated for the administrator profile. When active, press the Save button on bottom. On the left side, change to Overview or reload the web interface. When this is done, the playback application appears on the left side and can be switched to. If there are already recorded conferences, they are displayed in this application. To hear the recorded conference, press the recording entry which you want to hear on the info icon placed right side. Here it is now possible to hear the recorded file directly on the computer you are working with, using an HTML5 player that allows play, pause, stop, and forwarding and adjust volume. If the computer you are using does not have a speaker to play back the WAV file, it is also possible to play back the recording on a specific phone. This must be specifically enabled for each profile for which you want to allow playback on the phone. Switch to the administration and open Administrate Profiles. To test it, select the profile you are currently working with. For the video it is the administrator profile, and click the Edit button at the top. In the now visible menu, the profile settings and some other functions can be changed, which are explained in another video. Below you will find the playback settings where you can deactivate or activate the HTML5 player. To the right of it, the option Play WAV on phone can be activated. By checking this box and pressing the Save button, MobiCall activates the Play WAV on phone option in the application. Test this by switching back to the playback application and clicking the I button for a selected recorded conference. Now the phone playback option is displayed, where a phone number can be entered so that the user who answers the call can hear the message. Below is the playback data field. Here you can find all the information about this recorded conference such as start time, caller number, called number, direction, status, etc. If you scroll down, you will find information about the file and you can also download the file for playback. Contact NewVoice for assistance if needed.